Hello, this is Miles Clayton. This is my assignment submission for the psychiatric rehabilitation process, Assignment 1. I have Wanda Clayton here, and she's going to be helping me do my assignment. So here it goes. So Wanda, I'm going to have you sign the consent for my class. This is just a consent to let you know the assignment is just to do an evaluation for me. Anything discussed here will only be seen by myself and the professor. We're just going to use this to evaluate how well I do with this course assignment.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so again, my name is Miles Clayton. I'm currently enrolled in the Psychosocial Rehabilitation Certificate Program through Georgian College. This the current course I'm taking is called the Psychiatric Rehabilitation Process, and this course teaches the student how to assist an individual to facilitate positive change in their life. Course at psychosocial rehabilitation. So before we get started, I want to ensure that we turn off all cell phones and keep interruptions to a minimum. I want to be able to focus directly on what you have to say, and to hear to help you go through this thing. Again, this is a fun little assignment, and there shouldn't be any major crisis moments. And the purpose of this course is like all psychosocial programs, and it is to assist individuals to reach a state of recovery or to regain a meaningful state of life, regardless of their mental health issues. The hopes of psychiatric rehabilitation process is to help the individuals to identify a change in their environment that, once made, can help improve their quality and meaningfulness of their life. The psychiatric rehabilitation programs include several assessments and exercises that can help the individual identify the change they want and identify the readiness to commit to this change. Setting up the personal criteria, setting an overall rehabilitation goal, and developing a plan to help the individual reach this goal. In this exercise, we're going to focus on rehabilitation readiness, or how ready you are to make a change in your life.
Okay.
Our instructor has given us either ability to change a lifestyle or our living environment or our work environment. So in our previous conversation, we have talked about doing an assessment on employment readiness, or how happy you are in your current employment,
right,
or if you would like to do a change.
Yeah.
So the first step that we do in this assignment is called infer need, or what we would like to call make a sample goal, or a goal that we feel that we would like to make in the near future.
Right.
So, for example, this is what the individual feels, what changes they need to make in their life to make it more happier. For example, John is not happy with his job because of the long hours, so we can infer that John would like a part-time job. So if we can start with that and get some background on you.
Okay.
So can you explain to me where you work, what your work instructions are?
Okay. I work for Community Living Manitoulin. I'm a developmental service worker. I work in the supported independent living program, and I support 18 individuals to live on their own in the community. I assist with their daily living and basic needs, whether it's banking, grocery shopping, problem that they've had within the community, give them the goals and the ability to go and handle problem solving on their own.
So you're a community support worker with people with pretty good skills to live on their own.
That's right.
So
adults with developmental disabilities.
But they don't live in a group home, or?
No, they don't live in a group home. They all have their own apartments. They all live by themselves. We have a couple that are a married couple, so they live together in their own house. They run their own daily living. They run their own home. We're just assistant and supportive.
Okay. So can you, what kind of environments do you work in? Is it all the same type of apartments?
No, it's different. Some of our individuals live in apartment buildings. Some of our individuals live in a home. Some live in a basement apartment. It just depends on what community and what aspect of their financial needs that they were able to obtain an apartment.
So it would be like you or I living, or anybody else in the normal world,
it would be like my son going off to college, and getting, a bachelor apartment or a dorm room. These guys find where they want to live, what community they want to live in, and we assist them. We have some in bachelor apartments. We have some in 1-bedroom apartments. We have, couples in a 2-bedroom house. It just depends on their financial need, how much they want to pay for rent, and their family size.
Okay, it sounds pretty interesting. So, do you walk in the community to get to these apartments, or?
Sometimes we walk in the community. We do have transportation available through our company. We have 3 minivans that are used for my program. Depending on how many staff are on that day, because it can run from 2 staff to 4 staff. We only have the 3 vans, so sometimes we need to share. So you may have to walk from one individual to another individual's home, but most times we're in our own transportation.
Okay, sounds good. So and you also have an office, or?
Well, our transportation, sometimes, it's so many people use the same vans, they're run down, so sometimes it might be easier to walk than it is to use some of the vans. As for my office space, I do have an office, but it's we're classified as C1, so we're Counselor 1, so we're in a very big open space. My coworker and I have to share a desk. We have to share a computer. We have our own little cubby that, almost like when you're in kindergarten, that you store your private stuff in. We need to make confidential phone calls. We're not able to do that. We have to go and sit in a van or go into another room to make that confidential, because we share our building with 3 other staff members.
So I hear you're saying that privacy is an issue within your office.
Yeah,
space.
Privacy and confidentiality for our individuals is a big issue that I've had to bring forth to management several times.
Okay, so we'll go back to the inferred need. What I'm hearing is that you're saying that there are some issues with your workplace.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to ask you what your goal would be before doing this assessment with your employment, what would you feel that would be?
Well, my goal would be to try and advocate and assist for better privacy, better confidentiality issues for the individuals that we support. To have the board and the management team see that, if you're going to have people in an office that's going to counsel and we need to have those areas. So build us a small little 4-wall cubby, just to give that to our individuals. If this is the outlook that the mission of community living is for, we're not following it by the.
Okay. And I also know from just from talking with you prior to this videotape that you're also taking a course.
I'm actually enrolled with Northern College. I'm taking my social service worker program. Just to increase my skills and knowledge, and in hopes that I can use my skill and knowledge in a better area that's not being utilized at community living.
So you're contemplating moving to another job?
Yeah, I enjoy my job in a whole of who I support and what I do at community living, the importance of my role. I think that I've come to a hole in the wall where I've blocked the wall and I can't get any further ahead than where I am right at the moment with management team, and they see a vision. That vision doesn't enroll with the education, the knowledge, and what I expect for advocating for our individuals.
So what I'm hearing is you would like to use your education more and have a chance for promotion, or use that education to better the agency?
Well, I would like to use my education to better the agency. I feel the social service worker program that I'm taking will be a huge benefit for the individuals we support in the supported independent program, because there's a lot of counseling, there's a lot of, that need of, they're like you and me. If we go to the store and we steal a steak, we're going to be charged and go through court. Well, our individuals are the same way. Okay. So it'll give the skill to support better. But at this point, I don't see an advancement in the job I'm in. So yeah, I'm looking to use my education and find something that will take me as a whole.
Okay. So in our next area of counseling part, again, we're going to look at your validate your commitment to change.
Okay.
So we're going to go through several different areas, including your need, which is identifying your working environment, over how satisfied are you with your current work environment. So if you had to choose, how satisfied are you with your current work? I do hear some concerns that you have, and how on a personal level do you feel from 1 to 10? How satisfied are you with your working environment?
I'd say I'm probably about a 4 or 5 with my work environment.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit?
Well, it's basically, with the work environment, I mean, the means of transportation. Our vehicles are smelly and dirty, and maybe if we could all work together, or management could have something in place, it would benefit having that. If I had a better working environment for confidentiality and privacy, where you felt that you were important in the role that they placed you in, and not just in an open space where anybody can walk in and walk out while you're trying to do your work.
Okay. That sounds good. Can you explain some of the, you have explained some of the activities you have done with your work. Well, we kind of focus more on your work environment. Can you explain some of the activities you do with your individuals?
Yeah, we get them out and involved in the community. Like I had mentioned, we do the grocery shopping, we do the banking, but we also do fun activities. So a lot of our individuals are involved with Special Olympics Ontario. So we take them to gym nights, we take them to bowling, we take them to baseball. They have dances, they have different things. If there's things going on in the community, like we have a big, huge country music fest, I always plan it in advance, and I take 6 or 7 individuals and we go to the concert for the weekend. So a lot of them, it's their goals and their needs and what they want. So if it's, to go, I've just taken 3 individuals to Niagara Falls. Okay. It was a goal that they wanted to go on a vacation. This is what they wanted to see. So I put in a proposal, and, we get them out there. It's just like you and me wanting to go on a vacation. So you do your plans and your strategies. So we've taught them how to save money. What do I need to do this? What do I need to book? How do I do it? So instead of me doing for them, they helped me book a hotel. They helped me book their tickets. They helped me. So this is what they wanted to do. So this is the types of things that we do with them. So
you do a lot of teaching within your job then?
My job is a lot of teaching. My job is learning the skills to be on your own. So if one day the government or the ministry says, you're no longer in need of DSWs or SSWs, these individuals are going to have the skills to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and live like you and I. Maybe get into some trouble, maybe have a little bit of difficulty financially, but at least we can say that we've taught them to cook, to clean, to be able to book a vacation, to be able to attend an event within their community.
Well, excellent. That sounds very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, you've talked about how many people do you work with? I know just from your conversation that you said that you work with people with developmental disabilities, and you're looking at skills development and such. Can you explain how many people and maybe their ages?
In my program, I look after, we have 2 C2s, which are case managers. So they each have their caseload. There's 2 C1s, which are counselor 1s, and each counselor works with a C2. So you have 18 individuals that you support within a month's time frame. So then So we have 18, and then we switch over every month, and we have a different 18, so that we have a consistency, because everybody works differently.
Okay. Yeah.
So some skills that I can bring to the table may be beneficial for both groups, where my coworker has different skills that she can bring to help balance out life. Most of our individuals run from I'd say 22, 23 to 70.
So we're looking at young adults to, basically we're looking at the whole gamut of adults. We're not dealing with children.
Yeah, we don't, Community Living Manitoulin does not support children. We're not a child sector. We have like adults that have come out. We do have some that have hit us when they're 18, which is classified as an adult, but they're not able to come into our program until they're 18.
So do you see them right up until, they're, 80, 90 years old?
Yeah, we had one individual who just transitioned into long-term care a couple of years ago, and she was 82. So just her needs weren't being met in the supported independent living any longer. So we had to apply for long-term care as per her family and discussions. So yeah, we support them until, it's horrible to say, until they pass on, or until they're unable to support themselves. Because with my program, we're not a group home where it's 24-hour care. So they need to be able to be independent in cooking, cleaning, and if they can't take care of themselves, then we need to look through other approaches to support them.
So you do the whole gamut of life, basically.
Yeah, we go from 18 to the end, right?
Okay, excellent. So you mentioned that you have a couple caseworkers that are called, I believe you said C2s.
Yeah.
Are they the only supervisors that you have, or you talked about working in the office with many people? So. Yeah,
no, we have, in my immediate office, there's the 2 C1s and then our 2 case managers. And then we also have another lady that is our employment support. So she helps our individuals find jobs within the community. She is to maintain that their employment's going well, that there's no issues with their job, they're showing up on time. So she works hand in hand with us because our individuals are the ones that are out in the community that we're teaching to get jobs and what skills they need to hold that job.
Excellent. So
then attached to our office is what they call the main office.
Okay.
And that is where our management team is located. So we have 2 supervisors that we report to, an executive director, and then a finance and human resource manager.
So you on a day-to-day basis, you deal with a lot of people in management. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And how do you feel that that's going for you? Do you have any issues with your coworkers or?
Sometimes it's like anybody, anywhere. Sometimes it's difficult to be right under the nose of your supervisor 24/7, right? But sometimes it's okay because then you're right next door if you have an issue or a problem with one of our individuals. Sometimes it's difficult because they're busy or they don't want to listen or they don't understand the viewpoint. As for coworkers, I think everybody's in the same boat. We all clash. Because it's a variety of gender. We're all from different personalities. We all have different skills. So one might think that one's taking control where you're trying to, we all have something to bring. So yeah, it's hard sometimes of being copacetic on the job.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so if we can break this down just a little bit to what your likes are, what is like your top 5 likes of your employment?
I like being independent.
Okay.
I like advocating for the individuals. I like the involvement of being in the community.
I hear that you like working with the Special Olympics.
Well, I like the Special Olympics. I like I'm an active person.
Okay.
I like to see our individuals strive.
Okay.
I don't look at them that they have an issue. I just know that some of us need assistance, right? So, if you can give them a helping hand and make them feel comfortable and build that self-confidence, that's the part that I like about my job.
Yeah. And I hear, and it sounds like you have a real you're goal driven. You like to see things accomplished. Sort of like what I like to do.
Yeah.
I like to see people progress as well. So that's a very interesting point that you made.
Yeah.
So can you explain some of the dislikes that you have within your jobs?
I mean, sometimes it's the lack of support with management team. The lack of, because we live on a small, remoted area, right? So, the lack of resources for our individuals, lack of maybe healthcare, and, like getting them the benefits that they need, or, if they need to have some sort of mental health counseling. We don't have those facilities here that can properly target what they need, right? So then I'm finding that with mental health, we have a few of our individuals that do have developmental disabilities, but also have mental health issues. And we're having to drive 2-3 hours to get them support, right?
So I could see how that could get frustrating. So you must have to do a lot of driving within your job.
Yeah, we do a lot of driving. I mean, there's not a day that we don't put maybe 50 kilometers onto the vehicle, right? Like that's a minimum of what we do in a day.
And you were saying prior to this was that that everybody had different work styles, and that is that an issue?
Well, I find that one person will get them independent and strong and built up, and another person will enable them. So then it becomes where they need the helping hand again, and they're the helpless victim, and they need. So yeah, that's part of the job where there's so many different ones working with the same individuals, and some are enablers and some are let's build up the wall, right? So
it's kind of like a parent role where one parent sets the discipline and the other parent kind of lets them break the rule.
Like
right?
Knock down that fence. Daddy's not here today.
So is how's conflict resolution between your? Can you talk to your peers or?
Well, most of the time you can talk to your peers. Sometimes again, it's personality conflicts. So one feels they're being targeted, one feels they're. When you go to management teams, sometimes you can get a conflict resolution. The biggest thing that frustrates me is, just let it go, it'll get better. Well, then it builds a bigger bomb when you don't,
for sure.
when you don't deal with it, right? So
overall, how would you so now that we've done that, are you still looking at staying and trying to improve the job, or would you be more comfortable?
I mean, for the time being, I would say that I'm going to stay and work on the skills and improve the job. But I think as soon as I'm done my social service worker program, which is another 1.5 years, I think then, I'll have to reassess my job. But I can't see staying at Community Living Manitoulin for an extended period of time.
So if you weren't going to work for Community Living Manitoulin, would you be looking at doing the same type of work, or what would your dream job be?
I've always thought that working with people with developmental disabilities is where I wanted to be, adults. I have previous ECE. I ran an in-home daycare for many years. I've worked, with the elders. I'm finding that the older I get, I want to be back in the child sector.
Okay. Yeah.
But I want to not be the provider, but I'd really like to get into children's services somewhere where I'm working with helping families with children.
So if there was a way now in your, is there a way that you feel that you could improve your current job? Either by talking to managers.
Well, I'm sure talking to the management team, and we've oriented in just the last couple days that we're having morning meetings. So we can work on communication. We can work on what needs to be built. I think if we can work at all being on the same page to advocate for our individuals, it'll get me through at this moment.
Okay, sounds like you kind of have some things in place for to try to help make the job more pleasant
Yeah.
for you. Now, what would be the benefits of staying in a job like this? Your current.
Well, the benefits of staying in the job was I would hold my seniority. My benefits would still be there. I would increase in my vacation pay. I would have a better chance at advancement if it eventually came up. So staying in my current job would give me the things that I have already. Like I've been there 9 years, so increasing my seniority. You build out your vacation time. You have a little bit more pull and say when you've been one of the old staff, as they say.
So yeah, you're I can understand that, and it's probably comfortable.
You're like the comfortable chair that everybody likes in their living room, right?
For sure. I'm in the same boat where I've been in the same agency for 12 years, and
yeah.
It is a comfort. You know what to expect every day when you go into work, basically.
Yeah, well, and then it's a comfort for them as well as it's a comfort for you, right? It's something that you know what's going to happen every day. It's not a new shadow, right? So.
Okay, it's moving right along. What would be the benefits, do you feel, would be some of the benefits from going into a different job atmosphere? You were talking about maybe possibly going into the children's sector prior to this.
The benefits of going into a different job would be, well, it would help me use my skills, my education. It would, a different outlook. It would let you see the whole angle and realm of what's out there, right?
Yeah.
In the field, and not just be stuck to one sector for the rest of your life.
Kind of like a new adventure, right?
Yeah.
I can get that. What would I'm sorry. Who will support you in making these changes? Do you have a lot of support that would help you?
I have my family. I have coworkers at work as well. But my husband and my children are my biggest supporters. They're the ones that have encouraged me to do the abilities they know.
So my understanding is what I'm hearing right now is you're curious about the possibility of finding a new job once your education is done. But you're hesitant of leaving your current employment due to the feeling of a secure
and safe
failure setting. So, okay. Now we're going to move over into what they call the section of self-awareness and awareness. And this is what qualities of working environment are important to you, regardless of where you work. So we're no longer talking about leaving or starting a new job, but what actually are important in a work environment for you. So for me, I like to have change. I like to work in a group. I like to be in fresh, open spaces. So, what would be your qualities that you'd be looking at a place? So we're looking at place, activities, and people that you would like.
Well, I like open spaces as well. Teamwork. But I like to take a leadership role.
Okay.
I like to learn as I go.
Okay.
I'm one that I can do many tasks at once, but I like to be hands-on. I like to be involved in the activity or the event that's happening at that time.
Okay. Now, so if we were going to summarize that statement into a concise statement, into like a sentence or something like that. Do you know what I mean? What I'm hearing is Wanda would like a job where the opportunity to be a leader over a team, and she can do variety of tasks throughout the day. Would that be a fair statement?
That would be a very fair statement. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to go into an environmental awareness, and this is more again to tell me what kind of environments you've worked in the past. So like for me, I worked as a gas station manager, I've worked as a recreational counselor, I've worked as a primary counselor. So we're just looking at what kind of skills that you can bring to the table from your past job experiences.
Okay. Well, I've worked as a waitress. I've worked in a nursing home as a PSW.
Okay.
I've worked... I am now the C1 at Community Living. I've also worked as ECE. I've done an in-home daycare for like 12 years. So I've worked with, the adults, the elder, and and the children.
Okay.
I have also been given an opportunity to fill in as a case manager on a couple of occasions at community living when C2s were off on stress leave or off on a sick leave. I've been given the opportunity to show my skill there.
Okay, so you've done a lot with working with people throughout your life as well.
I've basically my whole life it's been working with people.
And do you enjoy that?
I enjoy being around people. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy helping. You know, I'm a helper.
Okay. Now, with all that being said, what are the range of options that are available to you should you decide to change your environment? We're looking at things like, you know, your education factors. So, like, I have a degree in sociology, and I'm taking this course now to try to improve my chances to work in the mental health field. What skills do you bring to the table, and what options do you feel, where would those options make you, or allow you to work in? And so I guess what the big...
Well, I mean, I have my developmental service worker. I'm working on my social service worker program. So it would lead me into, I could work in schools with the children, like in, you know, what they call the section classes, I guess. I can work with the children's aid societies, where again it's the same type of situation. I work under a social worker case manager, but I can still go out into the community and have my own individuals that you would support. You know, like it just ranges you in all, like, you know, you can work in a nursing home, I'm sure, and you can be a facilitator for activities. You can, it's wherever counseling needs will be.
So you still want to work with people as volunteering?
Yeah, I think so. I just think that I want to branch off into a different sector.
Okay, so it's instead of working with adults, you would want to work with children?
Yeah, and a big thing, it's not just even children. I have a big, well, I've also worked at a group home with addictions. So I have a big need to want to branch out more to the teenagers who are troubled, to the youth that have maybe some addiction problems, some problems at home. That's kind of the field that I kind of want to get into.
So you would like to work back into like a group home setting with teenagers, or
yeah, like a teenage group home setting where it's a rehabilitation center.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I was in an addiction center, and then it closed down. So I'd like to get back into that type of thing.
Okay. Excellent. And so now we're at a point where do we go from here? What I'm hearing is that you would really like to stay in your current position and improve your skills before looking at another job. So usually when we do this thing, we like to see where you would like to be in the next 6 to 24 months. So can you kind of give me a phrase of where you'd like to...
Well, 6 to 24 months, I mean, I can see myself still being in the same program that I'm in the supported independent living, continue to finish my SSW program. I can't see me leaving community living much before 2019 when my education's done.
Well, that's nothing wrong with that. So my recommendations would be to continue to improve your skills, and then we'll do another reassessment after your education is done and see how you're feeling at that point. Because you are making strides towards a change, but I just don't feel that you're ready to take that plunge yet until your education is done.
Yeah.
Am I correct in that assessment?
Yeah, I'm not ready to jump off the deep end yet until I have all of my education behind me.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'll come back to you if I have any more questions, but I appreciate all your help you've done with this assignment for me.
Okay.
And I hope there was a pleasant experience for you.
Yes. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.